Hello, brothers and sisters. Blessings to you all, and to all our wonderful brothers and sisters listening to us from around the world. This is Pastor Hope Mercy from the Kyle, Texas House of Hope. Today, we have been blessed with some truly inspired music. But first, I wish to thank Tom from Gay Talk Radio for helping us do the Lord's work on a worldwide scale. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. With that, we bring you our first piece of golden and blessed music. Oh, this is a beautiful piece. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
How can you leave me standing alone in a world that is so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father too low. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when dogs cry. Yes, they cry. Oh, they cry. How could you leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe
so much for that beautiful song. Before I begin today's message, I wish to say a little prayer for a friend of Tom's. I ask that you please join me in this prayer. Dear Lord, please keep Brother Jeff out of harm's way. We know you place challenges before us all, dear Lord, but for some reason it would seem Jeff has a few extra. Often we cannot understand how a Lord of love could allow us to suffer, but we trust in you, O Lord. We trust that our burdens will make us stronger. We trust that you will be with us on our path. We trust that when good people are additionally burdened, that they will be additionally rewarded, Lord. So, Lord, I ask with all compassion and love that you please remember our brother Jeff. Shine the light of joy on him so that you may recognize all of his true gifts, talents, and desires. Amen. As always, brothers and sisters, our messages strive for the truth. Today's message is no different. Through spiritual guidance, we will learn together, hopefully creating a much better lives for all of our brothers and sisters throughout the world. After all, like Brother Tom often says, we are all one human family. Brother Tom had a couple very special shows this week. You know, since I found Brother Tom, I listen to Gay Talk Radio every single day. Due to my work schedule, I used to hear the pre-recorded show. But now, Brother Tom, I must let you know, I am very happy that you are now broadcasting throughout the entire day. I think that is wonderful. You know, Brother Tom, Cindy and I have canceled our membership at the gym. Hallelujah. We're saving money. Because now we can listen to your show in the evenings and dance our bodies back into shape. But we miss hearing from you, Brother Tom. So I ask that you please try to get on in the evening. The music is nice, Brother Tom, but your message is so important. We all must be aware of world events that affect our community. So, Tom, please find time to inform us a little in the evenings also. For those of us that work during the day, it would surely be a blessing. Thank you so much, Brother Tom, for all of your hard work. Brother Tom, you have been blessed with so many beautiful friends. I was so happy to hear your friends Dale, Pinky, and Jeff between the music. Brother Tom, it brought tears to my eyes to hear your friends speaking up for you. So many in this world say they are there for you, But when it comes right down to it, you often can't find them when you need them, or they are just too busy. So, Brother Tom, I hope you tell such wonderful friends how much you appreciate them, because they are truly gifted and loving loving spirits indeed. The brothers and sisters here at the House of Hope share our desire to spread love wide and far, because all of us here at the House of Hope know that love is the magic key. Love conquers all, and we carry that message with us in every step of our journey through life. We hope that every voice which hears our messages can hear the love contained within them. I'm sorry, I always get a little bit sidelined, folks. But as I was saying, Brother Tom on Gay Talk Radio has really got us all going here at the House of Hope. Since Brother Tom has changed the Gay Talk Radio show, well, you might say our little House of Hope has turned into a little House of Hop. Brother Bird refers to it as the House of Hop with a helping of hoedown. That Brother Bird always comes up with some real knee slappers, don't he? I got to tell you a little story that happened the other night. You remember Sister Sally Sue Simpson? Yeah, she was our sister that got so excited when Brother Tom was telling us about the Geneva Bible. Her teeth flew out. You remember? Well, the other night we were all dancing, laughing, and having a great time listening to the music on Gay Talk Radio. And Brother Vern got us all laughing. All of a sudden, Sister Sally Sue got a very funny look on her face. Now let there be no mistake. We all love Sister Sally Sue very much. But when that smell reached the rest of us, well, let me just say, we all headed outside for some fresh air. I just thank our great and powerful Lord for inspiring someone to create Depends, because it saved poor Sister Sally Sue from an even more embarrassing moment that night. Let me tell you, needless to say, Sister Sally Sue had to once again head home. But we did not pause anything this time. Once the barn aired out, we went back to dancing, laughing, and partaking of the holy wine. Sister Betty Vernier mentioned Tom's friend, Brother Dale. She was saying if Brother Dale would have been here that night, we could have had some live entertainment. I think Sister Betty Vernier has dreams about Brother Dale ever since she heard him mention pole dancing and the towel contest. Yes, I think so. Well, I'm sorry I rambled enough. Let me get on with my message. Today's message is about marriage. Yes, it is true that for the most part, marriage has always been between a man and a woman. But it is not true that it has always been between one man and one woman. It's also not true that it has always been about love. Let's talk a little bit about biblical marriage. There are three parts of biblical marriage: the match, the betrothal period, and the culmination or consummation. The match was usually arranged by outsiders, usually the fathers of the bride and groom. Sometimes the wishes of the bride and groom were considered by the fathers, but it was not necessarily binding on them. In fact, it was not uncommon for the fathers to arrange a match for a couple who did not even know each other. This was evidenced by the match between Isaac and Rebekah. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 4, Abraham is speaking to his servant. He says, "But you shall go to my country and to my family and take a wife for my son Isaac." Sometimes the couple was recommended by a matchmaker. It is important to remember that the bride and groom were under the authority of their fathers. 13 was the legal age for marriage, but most marriages occurred when the groom was between 16 and 20. That seems very young to us today, but we must remember that there were strong family ties where the father continued to be a strong influence to his greater family. In addition, marrying young had the advantage of reducing the temptation of premarital sex. An integral part of the match was the contract or covenant. The young man had to go to the father of the young lady and ask for her. She may or may not have been present during their discussions. The prospective bride's father could then demand to see a written agreement as to how much money the prospective groom would give him to support the bride in case the marriage ended in divorce. In case the groom was poor, he might only be able to give the bride's father a promise to pay. Sometimes the groom also had to pay the bride's mother an amount to pay her for the loss of labor supplied by the bride. Once the agreement was made between the groom and the bride's father, a cup of wine was placed in front of the bride and groom. If the bride agreed to marry the groom, she would drink from the cup. If she chose not to marry him, she would not drink from it. Following her drinking from the cup, the groom would drink from his cup to finalize the contract. After both had drunk from the cup, they were considered betrothed and could only cancel the contract via a written divorce. They were essentially married after acceptance of the cup or cups, but they could not cohabitate. Now began the 1 year period of betrothal. The bride would not go out in public without covering her face with a veil, showing that she was taken and hiding her identity from the world. During this period, she began preparing herself for the marriage. This preparation stressed the purifying of her body, clothes, and thoughts. The groom left to prepare a place for them to spend their first 7 days and nights together. The place could be located near his father's house, or, if he were poor, even his own room at his father's house. Wherever it was the groom's responsibility to prepare it and his father's responsibility to see that it was done correctly in a manner befitting the bride. Such things as hunting trophies would not be acceptable. The period of betrothal, while the groom prepared the room, would typically last a year, sometimes longer. During that time, the bride and groom would not be together and certainly would not cohabitate. In addition, the groom was exempt from outside responsibilities. When his father had decided the room and the groom were ready, the father would tell the groom it was time to go get his bride. With the father's instruction to go and get his bride, the groom and his best man or witness and friends went to the home of the bride, usually at night. Once they were within hailing distance, a shout was made announcing the arrival of the groom. The bride and her maids grabbed what they needed to take with them. The bride's father looked the other way as the groom left with his daughter. The bride and the groom stopped briefly with the groom's father to read and sign the wedding contract and receive counsel from the father, then went directly to the room he had prepared. A great deal of noise was generated by all of this, so that everyone in the community knew a wedding was taking place. And of course, everyone was invited to the wedding. The wedding couple spent the next 7 days in that room, while the wedding guests celebrated outside. The best man stood outside the door of the room in order to pass whatever was needed into or out of the room, like food and water or whatever they might need. When the marriage was consummated, it was announced to the wedding guests who began to celebrate. At this time, the sheets from the bed were passed outside to be taken to the bride's father for proof that the bride had been a virgin. When the new couple finally came out of the room 7 days later, they sat beneath a canopy while the wedding banquet was conducted. The pure joy of the groom can be seen by reading Psalm 19. In Psalm 19 we read, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices like a strong man to run its race. Notice that the sun is like the bridegroom, not the other way around. He was very alive and radiant, exhibiting pure joy. In present-day marriages, a rabbi is asked to ask a special blessing on the marriage. Finally, the young couple move to their new house, where they will take up permanent residence. During this time, the groom was given special allowance to enable him to enjoy 1 year of pleasure with his new wife. You might remember in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 5, it says, when a man has taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war or be charged with any business. He shall be free at home 1 year and bring happiness to his wife whom he has taken. Now just for a moment here, let's talk about King Solomon. King Solomon was a king of Israel, and King Solomon is credited with building the first temple in Israel. Also, when we read in 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 3, we read that Solomon had 700, you heard that right, Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Well, isn't that interesting? Some Bible commentators have suggested that the Lord allowed men to have more than one wife or several concubines during the period from the Great Flood until the Old Covenant in order to build up the world's population, which had obviously been abolished by the flood. But from the time of Moses receiving that legal package on the Mount of Sinai, concubines were banned. But this is totally incorrect for two reasons. First, we should not forget that the Old Covenant was given to Israel alone. Secondly, the Old Covenant did make provision for a man having more than one wife. We ask you to read Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 15 through 17. Just in case you need a refresher, you know. We must also note that Moses himself took a second wife, who was an Ethiopian woman. You can read about that in Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. Moses had already married Zipporah. We read about that in Exodus chapter 2, verse 21. Aaron and Miriam criticized their brother for taking this second wife, but they were immediately punished by the Lord for their criticism, making it plain that Moses had done no wrong in the Lord's sight. You can read about that in Numbers chapter 12, verses 1 through 15. Of course, it is possible that Moses' first wife had died, but we have no indication of this in the Bible. Later on, people like David continued to have wives and concubines without receiving a single reproach from our Lord. David only received punishment when he added another man's wife, Bathsheba, to this group, thereby claiming he was clearly committing adultery. Often, Bible teachers in Sunday school are embarrassed about people like Abraham, Gideon, and David having several wives and concubines. They simply don't know how to handle it. They usually react by calling David an adulterer who still had lessons to learn. But this is just not what the Bible teaches. The fact is, prior to the Christian covenant, God did allow this practice, and it was not adultery. Adultery is taking another man's wife or another woman's husband. But if a man had two wives and two concubines, he was expected to be faithful to them all. It is clear from the scriptures that this was not considered adultery. Unpalatable though this may be for some in our present day and time. So we can see from our messages today that marriage has changed. Indeed, we can also see that even the word adultery has changed. We live in a world of differences. Judge not, lest ye be judged. There is only one righteous judge, and he is not a book. Amen. I wish all my brothers and sisters much love. May our loving and gracious Lord bless you all in this coming week.